5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. OG's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. OG's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, this is two of some of the biggest teams in the scene going up against each other. They're both hungry. They've got something to prove. I think maybe both of them. A lot of people are saying that they might not make it through the group stages. So this match in particular, if they both end up doing poorly against the other teams, is going to be very important because whoever wins this is automatically going to be one up on the other team. So they're going to have to bring their all for this game. I think it's one of the most important games in their group.
OG's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining.
Yeah, I think the idea is that the spirits themselves were buff, but you can control them less. So it's a buff to people who are bad at the hero and a nerf to people who are already good at the hero. The loss of slow on tether is going to be, I think, a big deal, but they added it onto those spirits. The fact that you can't control them that well is going to be the big deal. And looking at these bans right now, all 6 of these bans are completely different to the bans we saw in the last game. No Nightstalker, no Prophet, no Clockwork, no Nyx, no nothing. So we're going to see the Dark Willow be picked up, the Leshrac banned out because OG has been liking to run that mid with S4. And I think Na'Vi respect that. And probably what Mineski might have been doing or should have been doing in the last series, perhaps.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
I speak for the trees.
Yeah, is this an offlane Prophet or is it the roam Prophet that has sort of been popularized recently? Now, Earthshaker obviously lends himself towards the roam position right now. People don't like to run him offlane, but we could potentially see them dual offlane this. I don't think that's a bad lane. And with the AoE stuns from the Earthshaker, they don't need to worry as much about the Dark Willow using Shadow Realm to escape. You can use the Fissure to block her off anyway. I think these two heroes are, maybe the Earthshaker in particular, but the Nature's Prophet as well. Both are a little bit targeted towards that Willow because they both work really well against the the Shadow Realm.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
Yep, we are. So a couple of heroes that we saw banned and picked last series with Mineski and LGD are the Jakira and the Nargasiren. We've seen them paired together multiple times as well. So I think those two heroes, probably we've seen all our position 4s and 5s picked up right now, depending on where the profit goes. So we might not see it now. And there goes the puck ban you were talking about. So have to see where they go for their cores, seeing as this is the approach to the draft right now is pretty significantly different from the approach that Mineski and LGD were taking.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yep. I mean, POS 1, yeah, I guess POS 1 Nature's Prophet exists. It's been done before. I'm not too sold on the idea. I don't know how I feel about Nature's Prophet as a whole this early as well. But they've pulled out the clockwork against it, and I think that's going to be a big deal. When you try to roam with heroes like Earthshaker and Nature's Prophet, if you're walking in between those lanes, Clockwork will kill you. He'll probably pick up an Orb of Venom. He hits hard, he moves fast, he has cogs and battery assault. I like Clockwork as a POS 4 because he really limits other POS 4's movements. He may not be the best at running up to people and actually killing them, but he's the best at harassing other people outside of the lane, and he can really control around runes. 1v1, he can beat almost anybody at level 1 with battery assault, and level 3, if he's got 2 levels in battery assault, that is nasty. So I do like it up against the Nature's Prophet. The problem is, Nature's Prophet might just TP all around the place and Clockwork won't keep up.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Gyro combat!
Yeah, I guess the Earthshaker was really popular then, the Gyro as well. I mean, Gyro has been in and out, but when he's in, he's very much in, and he's picked almost every game. The mix of physical damage and magical damage that he outputs is really good. Now, what I am surprised here is it felt like Luna was a better option than the Gyrocopter in the previous series. They're two heroes that we were talking about. They're often compared because they have balances of physical and magical damage. They spread out their damage. Luna's just a little bit better at pushing. I think I would have preferred seeing the Luna come out here, even though the Shadow Realm doesn't really work with Eclipse. But I do think right now I'm preferring the Luna over the Gyrocopter.
OG's turn to pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah. Well, I mean, currently looking like maybe the Clockwork is that off lane, that position 3. And then both Rubik and Dark Willow can sort of shore up your lanes elsewhere. Both ranged, both have a good amount of utility. We saw last series FY's Rubik, which is obviously one of the best Rubiks that you get to see. He did really well against Mineski, which is a very tough team to go up against right now. So I think Rubik definitely has a place in this meta. And even with the nerf on lift, you often level lift anyway. So it's just his viability as a roaming support is a little bit less because of that level 1 lift right now. He definitely is.
Dire team pick.
Night Stalker.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I think they might have played it before. I think Crystallize has played it. Yeah, boom. So yeah, I think Crystallize plays a Luna a fair amount. Night Stalker is an interesting decision. Obviously solidifies Prophet as the offlane and Earthshaker as the 5. I don't expect to see a mid Earthshaker. And I like the vision game that Night Stalker does, and we can see that in the last series he was banned every game by LGD, and LGD ended up winning that series. So they at least heavily prioritize the Night Stalker. And I think here's a place, when you ever get back to these big tournaments, there are certain heroes that really rise back up in popularity. One of them is Night Stalker, another is Clockwork. I think either Lion or Shadow Shaman also can leap up just because Hex is so strong. And Batrider is probably the most traditional one that sees that resurgence, but he is a little bit too weak right now. Night Stalker, just giving that vision game is so fantastic against heroes like Clockwork and Rubik, where you can just keep tabs on them consistently. Especially at nighttime, you're very scary to go up against. You're probably one of the few heroes that Clockwork can't actually close in on when it's nighttime. So really good pickup. It might need a little bit of farm, but I think it's going to work out for them in the end.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. OG's turn to hit. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I think it's the Viper is a bit of a deny pick as well, because I know Seb plays it pretty consistently.
Choose your hero.
Is this a core Naga mid Prophet? Oh, okay. I was like, I feel like the position 5 Prophet or the support Prophet has been popularized, and I kept expecting it, and then they picked the Night Stalker, and I was like, okay, I feel like maybe now it's going to be something different, but they go back. This is roots for OG, the Naga Siren core is they love it. They absolutely love it, and I think it's pretty good with the song, but I'm not sure about its carry potential versus something like a Luna. I'm not sold on it.
Lucky? Yeah! Let's shake things up.
Ooh, where'd you go? Yeah?
Just what I was waiting for.
You a bit soft there?
Everybody!
Blessings upon a loyal warrior.
No, there we go. You're good now. Yeah. Yep, on Na'vi, we've got Little on the Rubik. That should be an absolute treat. Crystallize on the Luna. Now he plays that a fair bit. Dendi on the Viper. One of those classic mids that used to be very common in Dota 1, so he should be very comfortable on this. LeBron on the Dark Willow, and then General on the Clock. So it's going to be a Clock off lane rather than a roam.
The battle begins.
Look at this line of wards. Sort of a little bit aggressive on Na'Vi's side and very defensive for OG. I think they really want their mid lane and their safe lane to succeed right now. And I don't blame them because Naga needs a good start. Actually, she's going mid. I am not 100% sold on this. I have a feeling that Gyro would have gotten a little bit more out of the lane, but Viper isn't the lane dominator that it used to be. That 3 base damage on the Earthshake. The 3 base damage buff, it's going to come in handy. Is this something new? I feel like OG have practiced this Naga mid. He's just picking up the illusions and I feel like he's just going to spam that and run at him. Anything can work. It's another hero that actually starts off with good move speed as well, alongside the Luna. So definitely, I don't think it scales as well, and I'm not completely sold on it, but that move speed is definitely a big deal in the meta at the moment.
The seeds of fortune. I think the last time they've played it twice as this sort of right-clicker Naga, and I don't think they picked up the Radiance. It was more like, well, Manta is cheaper now. That's one. You can pick up the Manta, maybe go for a Skadi and a Butterfly. I think that's definitely a possibility. We could see the Manta as well, just for the push. But I feel like they have decent split push and clear. Although, Rubik, Luna, yeah, they could definitely pick up the Radiance and push with it. Is Fly essentially jungling? Is that what he's doing? Oh, it was awful. Gonna pull that wave straight in. Gets all 4 creeps. Clockwork doing 4 and 14, so he's got plenty of denies. Most of them on cogs, I assume. So he's going to be doing fine. He's going to be getting the levels that he needs to. And I think
That's all you really want from an offlane clock. I don't think he does necessarily a huge amount with a great deal of farm besides an early ags. So that's going to be ended up fine for them. And the Night Stalker's getting a fair amount of last hits in the offlane as well. Two mangoes. So it definitely seems like that early game, pros are not caring about that slot efficiency. They just care about having that extra regen. Absolutely, yeah. This Naga is remarkably resilient. She's got 11 armor and 850 health. I didn't realize her base stats were that good. Yeah, I did not. I mean, her base damage is okay. She's level 5 now. She's got a decent attack animation. You can run at people with the illusions. I am surprised at the efficacy of this Naga Siren. I really didn't expect this much from her against a Viper. But it makes sense on paper that just Viper really doesn't have the auto attack damage to deal with all of the illusions quickly enough. Oh, Fissure misses top. Fissure missed from Jerax, so I think he was trying to block off and hit both of them. Fly's got 2 wards. Probably going to set one up for the mid lane. Yep, boom. There he goes. Yeah, Fly's a good support is what you were trying to say. Well, yeah, at this point, I did not expect these lanes to be so one-sided, but they really are. Right now, 34 and 16 to Luna's 20 and 2. 31 and 20 to 10 and 3, and then 28 and 10 to 9 and 16. So Clockwork probably doing comparatively the best.
That was never going to end well for you. I'm always
They're getting a couple of kills though. They've killed the Night Stalker once, the Earthshaker now. Well, it worries me for Na'Vi that Fly has not needed to do much at all. Oh, Dendi goes down mid as well. Yeah, Dendi is often considered to be maybe not the best towards the mid game, but at least his laning is good enough because he's one of those remnants from Dota 1 where mid lane was everything. It was all about last hits and denies and lane control. So it's unusual to see him suffering like this, and he's had to level up the corrosive skin before the poison attack now. Oh, he might be dead again. Net goes off as well. Oh, here comes Seb. I didn't even notice. They have left... Now, that was a big rotation from Na'Vi, but it's left their Luna completely alone right now. So she's gotten free farm in that top right lane. She's pushing down that T1 tower a little bit, but now it's nighttime again with the usage of the ult, and might struggle to keep staying in this lane. Yeah, exactly right. And I don't think Viper is that lane dominator anymore. He's definitely, if you start the lane well, he will keep people low more effectively than ever before because poison attack is just incredible at low percentages. But if you never get that control, and they're never allowed him to, then it's really hard to snowball off of that. Yeah, I did not expect the Naga mid, but if it works, it works. Going into the treads first as well now. She's got the bottle. Treads. Probably, I don't know, maybe looking to pick up that Manta first. I don't know what Naga Siren Core's build nowadays because that Radiance was so common.
Top tower is under attack.
Well, Flyer's level 6 right now, but this Clockwork is actually still richer than him, so they use it, they get the hook off onto the Naga Siren.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
They bait out the Eclipse. I mean, overall, it feels a lot bigger than it is, but they're only 2k behind right now. Now, that losing the Luna is a big deal, but she's still in front of the Naga. Clockwork is doing well, and Rubik's actually kept up his farm quite significantly because he's ahead of the Prophet somehow. With 6 last hits, I guess he just got some bounty runes and some kills. He's 3, 1, and 2. Lil is going to have that blink death if he ends up moving towards it much more early than usual. He's getting a urn instead. I think it's generally great against a lot of their team members. I think you're right on against the Clockwork, but also against Dark Willow, against Luna, Rubik. I think it's really good here. The extra int will allow him to get like a spell or 2 off. Not that he's super mana hungry, but it helps. And I think 4-staff in general is just a great support item. And if you can farm one early, get one early.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Dendi is just poor right now. He needs to play that catch-up game significantly.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is under attack.
I mean, you could potentially... Maelstrom got, I guess, sideways buff. You don't get attack speed, but the chain lightning is increased from 120 to 170. So I guess you could go that. Most of the time, you're just going to see them go treads maybe into the hood. Like we saw maybe do in Game 3 against Mineski and LGD. He went treads into the hood. And I think that's just sort of the best you can hope for. Get tanky enough so that they devote too many resources to killing you, which is exactly how LGD won against Mineski in that Game 3.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They get another TP from LeBron, and LeBron right now is so poor. 800 gold on him.
He's just had to TP to save so many lanes at so many different times. I mean, it's good that Dark Willow doesn't need that much farm, but you never want to have only boots.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Ooh, close.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I think he just wants to make sure that Luna doesn't feel completely safe. I also, the Rubik pick as well is great against these different summons. You have the Naga illusions and the Trents from the Prophet, and he's just reducing the damage of all of them with the Fade Bolt. I think that's a really great deep push technique, and I will expect to see more Rubik coming up. LGD has set a pretty high bar with the Rubik, and I think a lot of teams are going to want to pick it up now.
Dire's bottom tower is under Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yep, he's going to be looking to getting that Yasha. I have a feeling he'll go into the Manta, considering it's 200 gold cheaper. Just because it's a great thing to dispel. You can dodge Viper Strike, I think. You can dispel a lot of different slows. Really great item to go here. And just the extra illusions are fantastic at soaking up things like Eclipse and Bedlam and all sorts of stuff.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Ooh, I reckon if you're lucky, it's more rare than something like Kinetic Field. But also what you need to know is if there are more people in the cogs with you, you're more likely, if you're on the edge, to Manta dodge out because there's less space available. Yeah. In order to Manta dodge out of cogs, all you need to do is get all 5 of you stuck in. Easy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think Mineski and LGD felt jointly pressured equally by the other team. They made a lot of smokes and a lot of bold plays to keep the other team on their toes. And that's definitely different to this game, where both teams are sort of content to just let the game develop. Yeah, Fly's got a medallion as well, so they're using the space of the map a little bit better right now. 5k net worth to them is definitely much better than that 2k, and they're using it to control the map. Bot is being pressured now by that T2, so this push might cost them a little bit. Oh no, the Trents are moving away. Is that an accidental micro? He's got like all the Trents in one spot or something? He just used the forced up.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen. Radiant structures are falling.
Yeah, I think this is a very typical OG play. Sacrificing a little bit of team fight for split push. They just want to make sure that they're controlling the map in other areas. I do like that Na'Vi made that play. I think it's a great play to make. Did get punished a little bit more than probably they intended to get punished. But their team fight is very strong right now, and I think they realize that. Without the song, OG have no reset to make sure that they can win fights directly. Fly. That was... well, that was a bit bold from him. They did have the Eclipse, as well as Terrorize, but I feel like they're just a little bit scared. They know that they're out-farmed. They may have better team fight, but with that many Trents around, Eclipse is not going to do that much. Lil is going for the Atos first. So he's actually been doing pretty well. He's lagged behind the Prophet now, because, you know, most of his gold came from those kills and he's died a couple of times. But the Atos is going to help to close in on heroes like the Naga and the Night Stalker. But he's actually chosen to get the Nullfield, the value point in Nullfield, which is different from what FY was doing. I think instead of the last point, you can definitely do that. Viper. No, they decided that they didn't want to pressure him any further.
This sustains gold remains. Loaded to the gills. Regeneration.
I'm not sure if I'm fully behind this decision. I feel like a Hood might have been the better way to go. I do like that it gives you raw stats and a bit of tankiness, and overall I like Hurricane Pike on Viper. But now that 4 staff costs 100 mana, he's got a mana pool of 580. That's automatically 20% of his mana pool gone to 4 staff, and if he's using his Viper Strike and his Nether Toxin in long fights, he's definitely not going to have the mana. So I don't know how good this Pike is going to be if these fights are long and drawn out. But if they win them quickly, I guess mana cost doesn't matter. Yes. So from 5 to 2.5, I think it is. This time at the cost of nothing. They can potentially still contest this Roach as well. Going down quickly though. Eclipse is up. Hookshot is up. Oh, the fear! Oh, they got it though. I feel like maybe they should have just gotten the T2. They were all there. They took... Now, I understand the frantic risk that you take. You sort of panic when you're like, they're taking Roche, we need to contest it. But maybe they already had the T1. I think they potentially could have taken the T2 there. Ooh-hoo-hoo. Viper might go down again. Whoa, whoa, Seb's got the Ags as well. I wasn't paying attention. Oh no. Oh no, Mushi's started something. I'm going to look at the patch notes. Give me 2 seconds. He received no changes. Yeah, so the Satanic is really good with the Ags because it's automatically going to get your Satanic at least 2 hits off of it, even if you're stunned. As long as you pop it, you're going to get 2 hits off of that Satanic, which can be the difference between life and death. I'm still not sold on the Ags. I love it as an item. I don't know if it's as good as snowballing into something else, but the important thing here that Mushi might not have done is that Mushi went for the Sanjin Yasha and then had the BKB late. If you can imagine that Seb didn't have the BKB for that Roche fight, I think it would have gone much worse.
Where's my pension?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
This feels like OG at sort of their peak. This is the play style that they really want to play. They want to be maneuvering better than you, team fighting better than you, and really split pushing better than you all around the map. I think Na'Vi have taken the right steps. It's a shame that they lost that Roche fight, and maybe if they'd taken the T2, they would have been much more even right now. But OG are pretty firmly in the position they want to be right now. That was a BKB TP. That was the 10-second BKB. Oh!
All those gears don't work so well with rock.
Great terrorize though. Ooh, 40 health on the Luna. They're all here now though. This is the thing. The Night Stalker moves quickly and the Prophet can just TP. I think it's a good decision to back off there. It's always easy to underestimate the enemy's team fights when you're ahead by like 10k, but Eclipse is no joke, Bellsteel is no joke, and Bedlam is no joke as well as Terra. So, good decision to back there, I think, by OG. I wouldn't mind finishing off the Solar Crest. I think that would probably be a good decision. The Pipe is good as well. Obviously, it does fantastic at countering most of their damage. And right now, I think Viper is only going to deal magical damage. So the Pipe here is good, but instead, he's actually gone for the Sheepstick. Prophet, he's just switched and he's now just trying to go for the Sheepstick. He just got the Ultimate Orb and he's got the Mystic Staff as well as the Voidstone queued up. I feel like I might prefer an Atos and then upgrading the Solar Crest. Easier build up. Atos is going to root and do sort of the same thing. It's going to set up. It does allow them to get the jump on someone like Luna and sheep her before she gets the BKB off. But again, I don't think that's what they need to be worried about. It's the team fights as a whole. And Atos, I think, would have given them a little bit more. And he would have it already. But Sheepstick is obviously still good. Sheepstick is never a bad item. No assist. Luna. I guess Bloodthorn is just good, right? It's got passive crit and damage. If he wants to eventually get the Bloodthorn, Orchid is a great item to pick up in the interim for the silence. I think almost any of them is good. Viper is probably the one that's going to be the most accessible because Luna has the BKB, but Clock, you can probably get it off before he does the cogs. Rubik, you're crippling him pretty big for the next 5 seconds. There's opportunities.
Dire's top shrine is under attack.
Where's my pension?
Dire's top shrine is under attack.
Yeah, I think they're happy to take the game at their pace. They know that Na'Vi aren't going to pressure them a lot. And that's the difference between this sort of series and Mineski versus LGD, which is in those games, both teams were just on each other's throats the entire time. They knew that if they pressured, they could get different objectives a lot. So this game, you just see that OG is happy to pressure slowly, and Na'Vi doesn't really want to take any big risks. I think they're waiting for the next Roche. They might take the bot shrine, get Roche, and then gear up into something else. This might see Roche spawn as well. Yeah, so Dire does know Roche is up. Yeah, so they just rocketed it and they saw it as it spawned. True, true. But I feel like they've smoked. They've already taken the Roche though. S4 is so tanky. That's GG. My bad, my bad. The DD there from the Gyra absolutely solidifies the team fight with relative ease, even though they kind of screwed the song combo. Ooh, that was more convincing than I expected. Very convincing coming out from OG against Na'Vi, and I think if this shows that they're a little bit better than I think they've been in previous tournaments. If this game was even, I would be feeling a little bit bad about OG's chances, and Na'Vi, they were, you know, a lot of people were saying that they'll be the first to leave the groups, and maybe this is the case right now. Yeah. See you soon.